so many people are saying the Browns getting a first-round pick for next year, the Rams getting a first-round pick for next year. Everybody who didn't take their quarterback in this year's draft is saving up their powder for Arch Manning next year, that they assume he will be in the draft. What do you think, sitting here right now?
That would be a great thing for Texas because that means he probably won the national title, I think. And look, right now, if you ask me, whatever date it is, April 30th or 28th or whatever.
29th. It's in the middle. Yeah.
Got close. I got it surrounded.
Right.
They would be my preseason pick to win the national title. Right. They've done really well in the portal. Everything I've heard from the people I trust inside Texas has been glowing about Arch. It's been glowing really from the time he's gotten settled in there. So I thought he handled every situation A+ in there. Does he get 1 year as a starter and then he jumps to the NFL? I don't know. I don't think anybody there. Everybody's just guessing, right? But I could see it. I think this will be a better quarterback draft, this next one, than what we just had, just because I felt like we had one real guy. And that real guy, was like a guy people thought was a 5th rounder this time last year. So it's often there is a guy or two. Nobody thought Jaden Daniels was going to be that guy. Nobody thought Joe Burrow was going to be that guy a year out.
And you're referring to Cam Ward at this point last year, where people thought was a fifth round selection?
Yeah, but he goes to Miami, and I mean, he just tears it up there, and I think that people also saw some stuff in him that maybe they didn't see coming out of Washington State. But, this next group, look, Drew Aller has a lot of physical talent. When you talk to people inside Penn State, they think he can be really special. We got to see it, right? I mean, he's done some nice things statistically, but we got to see it. Garrett Nussmeier is really talented at LSU. They should be a playoff team. They should make a run. He has legit, I think, first-round talent. There are a handful of guys already that you're like, this one's going to be interesting to see. Carson Beck coming off the injury. A year ago, people thought he was a first-round talent. And I could see him having a really good year, and what the past year has done for him. So I think this is a really good draft for quarterbacks, or will be, but you never know.
You never know. But your assessment is that for Arch Manning to be in the draft next year, Texas has to win it all?
Not they have to.
Okay.
But I just think they've come close the last years. I think
if he does, then obviously he's completed the mission.
That's my,
But I guess everyone is basically saying, of course you're going to get an extra first round draft pick next year. Everybody's thinking about Arch. Everybody's already looking up. And I don't know. Is it a given? The kid's
It's not a given. I mean, in fairness to the other quarterbacks, and honestly, in fairness to Arch has started like 3 games.
That's it.
Or whatever. And I think this is going to be the offseason where he probably makes the most development, because he has some film. By the way, he's got 4 new offensive linemen that are around him. He's going to have good players, but that's a lot, right?
Right.
You had a top 10 offensive lineman who now is going to play for the Saints, and then you have a handful of other guys who have to get settled in. I think he's got a really good system with Sark. He's going to have really good receivers again, different ones, but some different ones. But I think that it's really for him just to learn on the field. And for all those things, you're going to be in the SEC. The target is really going to be on your back now. Like, I think they're going to be the preseason number 1. Again, it doesn't mean if they don't win the national title that he's not coming out. And it doesn't mean if they win I don't know that. Nobody knows
right.
that. It's not like, I had a conversation, if I win the national title, I'm out of here. Like, no one's doing that now. But I would say that's what it would lead me to believe. Because he hasn't been in college. He hasn't played that many games. If you're the Mannings and you're kind of calculating all this, you know how much time on task and how critical it is to play in a lot of games in a quarterback's development. If he's had, let's say it's 16 starts next year plus 2 or 3, 18 starts is not a ton. You go back to those old Bill Parcells, comments about quarterbacks.
But if you're also part of the game, if you will, of gaming it out, would have to be who's got the first overall pick or the most likely person to have it. You
have some leverage there,
You
potentially.
keep mentioning the Saints.
If
Obviously,
the Saints have the number 1 pick, he's obviously coming out.
Well,
I don't
obviously,
know. I don't know.
obviously.
There's a hometown aspect to it, but if they don't like the general manager or the coach or the ownership, he's not going there.
They're a team going nowhere. They need some type of buzz.
I know what they
drafting
need.
the grandson
I know
of
what
one of your
they
best
need. Yeah,
good
all-time
point.
players.
I'm with you, Rich.
I know what they need. What the Mannings need is ownership, general manager, and coach to not have their heads collectively in a particular orifice, and they will make sure Arch goes to the spot where it's all in line. And it's.
I actually think
that-
Arch potentially could have more leverage than Eli did back, whatever it was, 20 years ago. Just because I don't think, again, we're putting so many carts before the horse right now.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of leverage, the fact that he, even if it goes great, he still only had started like 18 games. Now, the seasons are longer than in college than it used to be, but still.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.